So this episode opens up with Megumi and Panda taking on Kirara, because we saw in the previous episode that Yuji and Megumi had infiltrated Hikari's Fight Club gambling thing, trying to convince him to help them in the culling games. But they can't just do it conventionally because they're technically coming from Jujutsu High, which Hikari and Kirara don't trust because, first of all, what they're doing is illegal in multiple ways. So they assume that if Yuji and Megumi are working with them, then they would be sent there to shut down their operation. Second of all, we're finding out in this episode that it was the Jujutsu higher-ups that exiled Hikari and Kirara because they're just too conservative, more so than just the regulations, because they have a set ideas of what Jujutsu should be. They what they consider classic curse techniques, like the way that Nobara's is. But they don't seem to like new age curse techniques that incorporate more contemporary ideas into them, such as technology and whatever, which Kirara points out that they really don't like Hikari's curse technique because of that. We still don't know what it is yet, at least just going by the anime. But this implies that yes, it is technology based or very contemporary. But it also makes you wonder, okay, why do they like Gakuganji's curse technique then? Because it incorporates a freaking electric guitar. And then Megumi tries to further convince Kirara by saying hey, you know what's going on in Tokyo right now. You remember that big thing with Kenjaku, a couple of days ago or weeks ago or whenever that happened? And Kirara's well, Gojo can just eventually, clean up your guys' mess for you. And he's no, Gojo is actually Seal. And that's such an outlandish statement that Kirara's just going to be incredulous of it, because it's no one can seal Gojo, no one can beat him. So despite all of that, they just can't get through to Kirara here, trying to convince her that hey, we're not here to take you down or anything. We're just here because we need your help. So it's understandable that Kirara is not going to believe them because, they've been burned by Jujutsu High. So then they start fighting, and we get into Kirara's unnecessarily complicated curse technique, which in the anime, pretty cool sequence. I mean, it is bogged down by narration and mental monologues, but sometimes anime is just like that, But this is, as I've said many times before, Gege doing his Togashi impression. Togashi, the creator of Hunter x Hunter. Once you break this ability down to its bare essentials, it's not really that complicated or complex. It's just the way that it's explained makes it seem as though it is. So Kirara's curse technique is called Love Rendezvous, and it applies 5 stars to target's cursed energy with the Southern Cross as a base. That's just what Gege chose, this constellation, just because it's cool, I guess. And then each of the 5 stars have their names that we see pointed out in this sequence. But 5 things can be marked with those names of the stars. She doesn't even have to physically touch you. She could just touch your cursed energy and it'll apply to you. And the things marked with the same star attract each other. And then everything else kind of just repels each other. And in order for you to get to where you need to be, or the person themselves, I guess, you need to go in a set order of the constellation itself and how things were marked. You need to go A, B, C, D in order to get to E. So that's basically what it is. It's just a magnetism type ability that attracts and repels things. And in order to get around it, you just need to hit the marked things in order. And in a roundabout way, in this cool sequence, with the totality dog and a wall involved, and the help of Panda and some rabbits, Megumi gets around this and takes down Kirara. To be honest, I don't think this ever comes back. I could be wrong. Maybe it comes up another time. And if it does come up again, it might be at the very end of the series, but I don't think we ever see Kirara use this again. I could be wrong, but I just don't remember this ever really coming back again. I mean, yeah, it was cool for what it is. It's cool for, the first half of this episode, just to have, Megumi and Panda have a cool sequence to go about. But anyway, Megumi lets her go, and then he does a full Dogaza bow to her, which in Japanese is the ultimate sign of respect. And they're absolutely sincere with their apology or their intention or whatever. So Kirara accepts okay, yeah, I guess he could have just taken me down if he really wanted to, but he chose not to, and he's doing a freaking Dogaza. So I assume what he's saying now is the truth. And as that happens, Yuji gets knocked out of the room where he encountered Hikari. Now we're picking up from the end of the previous episode where Hikari started fighting against Yuji, and Yuji's not fighting back here as a way to get Hikari's acceptance. And this kind of feels like Yakuza to me. Hikari comes across as a Yakuza gang member. Maybe that's Gege's intention here. I mean, obviously I'm not Japanese. I'm not ingrained into their culture, but from what I've gathered, this seems to be very Yakuza stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if this is part of their gang gang initiations, if it's anything similar to like American gangs, which, you know, it's obviously not one for one, but even the way that Hikari talks, like he rolls his words, like that's like Yakuza, like tough guy speech. And also gambling rings are like a part of their stuff too. So yeah, I think Hikari's probably like supposed to be like Yakuza, although not literally like a Yakuza member in this world, but you know what I mean. So then after taking a few more punches, Hikari asks Yuji like, why me? This is the first time we met. Why are you trying to rely on me? And Yuji's like, well, because my senpai said you're strong. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. Well, you're asking me to just risk my life then. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, this is why they're trying to get Hikari for the culling game, because he's one of the only few strong sorcerers left that they can actually get. Like I've said many times before, and you've seen this yourself if you just watched season 1, Hikari was set up as being just as strong as Akotsu, who, as we saw earlier in the season, is a freaking beast. He's special grade. It's not outright said that Hikari is special grade, but he more or less could be if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, especially if his curse technique starts working the way that it's supposed to. He becomes special grade. So he's not like consistently special grade, I guess, like just chilling right here on the rooftop, he's not special grade, but he can become special grade. So then Yuji goes on to say what is going to become like one of his iconic lines here, and he says, I don't have passion like you, I'm just a cog in the machine that sorcerers need to keep exercising curses. And yes, that is very true. Yuji is the MC of this series, but the series is much bigger than he is, as well as the characters within it. He's just there to be Sukuna's vessel, to collect fingers, and to house him. And until that mission is accomplished, he's just there to take down curses and help as best as he can. Then he takes some more punches from Hikari until Kirara convinces him like, hey, you know, we've had enough. Like, he's excited you, right? He made you feel some passion, right? So, you know, just hear him out. And he's like, okay, you know, everyone come around, you know, I'll hear what you guys have to say. Until suddenly one of the Koganis pops up. The Kogane is like the interface of the culling game. It's like the AI component of it that dictates what's going to happen in the game and controls it as well. It's the game master. And we find out that someone has made a rule, because this was established a couple episodes back, that big expositional Tengen Yap Fest, that you can spend 100 points that you accumulate from defeating people in the culling game to make a new rule, but it can't like break the game. But obviously this rule is pretty grounded, and it's that you're now able to view the following information on the players, such as name, points, number of rules added, and their current colony. And it was made by this guy we see at the end of the episode by the name of KASHIMO. And from what he says, he's coming from 400 years ago. So that means that like he was put into a cursed object the way that Sukuna was. Someone ate him and then he took over the body, and now he's reborn again from 400 years ago. Meaning that he made a deal with Kenjaku to be a part of this. And he's looking for Sukuna. So that's really interesting, right? We've got this guy implied to be really powerful from 400 years ago looking for Sukuna. Now, he obviously didn't exist during Sukuna's time because Sukuna's from 1,000 years ago. So he just heard of the legend of Sukuna, and we can put two and two together here that he's in the culling game so that he can fight Sukuna. I mean, it makes sense, right? This guy is going to become a pretty popular character, I'm assuming, because even in the manga, he became popular. So, you know, once all the casuals of the anime are able to see him, then his popularity is going to skyrocket once again. And, you know, you just from seeing this, you can see that he's going to be like one of the bosses of the culling game. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, guys. If you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.